My today's topic is takeaways from Laracon India 2026, which happened on 31st of Jan and 1st of Feb at Ahmedabad. You might be knowing that I attended that. So let's look into the topics. So I have taken three topics from the conference. First is Laravel AI SDK by Taylor. Uh, he's the father of Laravel. And the second one is Strict AI Engineering by Nuno. He's the creator of Pest, Paint, Larastan, and lot more packages. The third one is Write Code Can Fix by Itself by Punyabal Shah. He's a Laravel consultant and open source contributor. So let's start with Laravel AI SDK. So this is something that Taylor announced in Laracon before it was released. So what is Laravel AI SDK? So this is a Laravel's own official package for working with AI. Here, you don't need to wire up different APIs yourself for each providers. AI SDK handles everything for you in one place. Just like Eloquent makes database work clean and simple, this SDK does the same for AI features like agents, streaming, tools, embeddings, etc. So it work with multiple AI providers like OpenAI, Grok, Gemini, etc. So you install once, switch the provider with a config change and no much code change. So why Laravel SDK? So the first point is unified abstraction. So one API for all the providers. If you want to switch from OpenAI to Anthropic, you just need to change the config. You don't want to touch the code. You don't want to touch the actual codes. The second is like Laravel native field. Like it uses the same pattern you already know. And you know Laravel, there is nothing new to learn. The third one is like built-in streamings. Like you can stream AI responses in real time directly onto your routes and over WebSockets. No extra setup is needed. Fourth one is like testables and mockables. You can write proper tests for your AI features without making real API calls. It comes with fakes and mocks built in. So it's great for CI/CD and reliable testing. The fifth one is tool and function calling. You just write a normal PHP method and mark it as an AI tool. So the SDK handles everything else, like serialize it, call it, and inject the results back. And finally, it's embedding and drag. So it has built-in support for embeddings. You can store vectors right in your database with the help of PG vector and build the RAG pipelines. No external databases, vector databases is needed to get started with AI SDK. Uh, these are the installation steps. We can do it by Composer. Just run Composer command and the package is installed. It's same as installing any other Laravel package, nothing special here. You can publish the config files and migrations so that you can customize it. You can run the migrations. Here, two tables will be inserted, one for agent conversations and one for messages inside these conversations. Finally, you can set up the API keys and default models. So this can be done in the env file, and you can also configure the default providers in your config file. You can set different defaults for different tasks. Like you can set OpenAI for text. You can use Gemini for images, like that. Let's see few examples to see how simple it is used, uh, how simple it is to use AI SDK. So this is an anonymous agent. It is the simplest way to use SDK. There is no class, there is no setup. You just call agent helper function and you are good to go. So how it works? So you give instruction like you are my helpful assistant. Then you give a prompt. It sends to the AI, give you back a response. So by default, the providers that you have set in the config file will be used. You can override the provider on the call. You need not change any code or config for that. You can also pass a list of providers so that if the first one fails, it falls back to the second one. And you can see the response object. It is a rich object with all the details like text, token usage, provider, model, etc. that is being used for that current request. You can also specify a structured output for your response. So instead of getting a plain response, you will get how you have specified it, like the movie, you can see the rating, the reasoning, etc. So I have given the structure here and I got the structure, the response in that particular structure. We can also queue the agents with just a queue command. And when it's done, the then callback is being fired and you can save the result or you can do whatever you want from here. So this is an overview of the features of AI SDK. It supports text generation, streaming, AI agents and tools, structured outputs, image generation, text-to-speech, transcription, embeddings, web search, web fetch, and a lot of things. So I'm not going to explain everything of this. I just wanted to say that this is very simple and easy to use. So Laravel AI SDK is a complete unified layer for every AI operation your app might need. So one package, one config, and everything is covered. And that's all about AI SDK. So now let's move on to the second topic. This is strict AI engineering by Nuno. He sees discipline as the foundation for speed. So here the core thing I want to walk with is that a lot of people think that AI will compensate for messy codes. It doesn't matter how we set up things, AI will figure it out. That's not completely true. AI amplifies what already there. So if your code base is sloppy habits, AI will produce more of that, but faster. But if your defaults are strict and your types are correct, your test passes, then AI becomes really more powerful. I think of this as two mindsets. So vibe coder says that if it works, ship it. It feels fast at the moment. Silent nulls may be there, lazy loading, no static analysis, like that. But you might not feel the pain right away. But the moment you bring AI into the picture, every bad habits get multiplied. AI doesn't know your code base has hidden problems. It just generates more code on top of them. In strict agent coding mindset, we write strict, clean Laravel codes using PHP stand, immutable dates, eager loading, etc. When AI works inside a clean code base, it produces much better results. That is, better your code base, the better AI performs in it. Um, these four tools used to be nice to have. You could ship without them, and it was fine. That's no longer true. So in this AI era, AI write code faster than any humans ever could. So if you don't have any safety net in place, you will accumulate technical depth at that same speed of AI. So here, PEST, PHP unit, etc., can cache when AI is wrong. Static analysis tools like PHP stand, Larastan enforces that types are correct. Pint keeps everything generated is consistent. And CI is a gate that says no matter who or what wrote this code, it does not merge until it passes. So these are not just nice to have tools, but a minimum safety for a team that uses AI. So strict AI engineering can be done with a new package that is being introduced by Nuno. Getting started with Essential is, it's called Essential, Laravel Essential. And getting started with Essential is literally one command. You just require the package and you can customize the config file. and everything can be configured from there. Let's see a few features of this particular Laravel Essential package. Um, Let me show you what strict model actually look like in practice. So there are three changes when you turn this on. First is like if you access an attribute that doesn't exist on a model, instead of silently getting null, you get an exception. This is massive for AI generated code because AI will sometimes just guess attribute names. With strict mode, that mistake show up immediately instead of causing a silent data bug. The second one is lazy loading is blocked. So no more accidental n+1 query issue happens. If you haven't explicitly loaded a relationship, it throws error. Third one is like if you try to set an attribute that isn't defined, it throws an error instead of doing nothing. No more silent failures. So these fields at strict, but that's exactly the point. Like fix the problems immediately, not 6 months later in the production. Let's see two more examples. This package can fix by default. The first one is immutable dates. So carbon dates by default in Laravel are mutable. So that means you can accidentally modify a date object and create a bug. When we switch to carbon immutable, so every date operation gives you a new instance. Nothing gets mutated unexpectedly. The second one is like eager loading. If you define relationship in your models with property, um, everywhere you need not call the with method again in the queries. This will solve the n+1 query issue. So both these look like very small changes, but they prevent very huge problems. So this is everything in this package that can be configured, and everything is optional. So you can turn any feature on and off with this. I'm not going to explain all of this. So this package also ships with three commands. First one is make action. This generate a clean action class. The second one is pint. It creates a pint file with. So these are the three commands that comes with this package. The second one was pint. It gives a pint config file with default rules, and also a rector config file with default rules from rector. So we'll talk about rector later. Let's zoom out for a second. So AI doesn't fix bad code, it scales it. So if your defaults are good, AI output is also good. If your code is sloppy, AI amplifies it and at the speed of AI. So, so you can see that Laravel is generally well positioned here, strong conventions, clear patterns, and with this package, strict defaults that guide AI towards production grade code by default. That's all about strict AI engineering. So when strict code, we get smarter agents. So our next topic is write code that can fix itself. It was done by Punewal Shah. This is basically about Rector PHP. So what exactly is Rector PHP? Rector is a PHP tool that reads your code, understands its structure, and automatically rewrite it to follow the modern standards. So you don't have to touch every file manually. It can do things like convert the old PHP code, missing type hints, and enforce modern conventions across the whole project. Let me give you 6 reasons why you should bring Rector into your project. The first one is the automation. Instead of manually hunting down every old code patterns, Rector convert it or does it in one single command. Second one is like smarter upgrade. it reads your composer file, figure out which Laravel version you are on, and applies exactly the right rules with all the rules without any guessing. The third one is like code quality. Your code becomes easier to read, safer to work with, and more friendly to static analysis tools like PHP Stan, Larastan, etc. The fourth is a speed. It just takes seconds to upgrade hundreds of files that might have taken hours or days of manual work. The fifth is consistency. It applies the same rules everywhere. No more this part is of the code is from uh, modern and this part is from 90s. No. And finally, it's fully customizable. You can tell Rector which folder to scan, what to skip, what exact rules to apply. So getting started with Rector is really straight. You can install the packages. There is two package. One is Rector main package and one is Laravel based package. You can run Rector init. This creates a config file in your project and all the rules can be modified from there. And the third is like configure your Rector PHP file. And the finally you can run the Rector. It's better to dry run first without this will not touch your files actually, but it will show what are the changes that gonna happen. And then once you confirm that, you can apply the changes. So this is the simplest and most powerful way to configure Rector for your Laravel project. So instead of manually specifying which rules to apply, you can just use a Laravel set provider with composer based true. So this tells Rector, look at my composer file, figure out which Laravel version I'm running, and automatically applies all the rules for that particular version. So sometimes you just don't want to jump straight from Laravel 9 to 12. So this commonly does not prefer on large applications with um, large and old applications. It might be risky. So this is where Laravel set list comes in. So instead of auto detecting your version, you can manually specify a target version. You can say apply all rules up to Laravel 10. You can test the things, you can commit the things, and then you can move on to the next Laravel versions. So there are constant to specify which version you have to switch to. Um, I'll walk through some simple examples. The Laravel if helper rule find all the old style of if blocks and convert into new type using about if, throw, unless, etc. So here is another simple example. It automatically add type hints. The Laravel type declaration rule actually add the types for the parameters and also the return types. So, so on the left, you can see functions that where you don't have any idea about what is being passed and what exactly uh, it returns. But on the right, you have a great idea on what is being passed and what is being returned. So there are other rule sets, and I'm not going to explain all of these. So as I told you, we can customize Rector rules. Actually, you are not forced to run Rector on your entire project at once. You can have full control over what it touches. So you can tell Rector exactly where to scan with with paths, what to skip with with skips, and which rules to apply with sets. So if you have a legacy code folder and you don't want to run or you don't want to touch it, just keep that. And if you want to just start with one single folder and one single rule, even that is also possible. So this make this package usable to any large or legacy project. So to wrap up, Rector keeps your code base clean, modern, and consistent. So you don't want to spend much time on maintaining the code, and you can spend more time building the things. Also, cleaner the code, the smarter the AI assistance that you will get. So I think you all got my point that you have to write cleaner, smarter codes so that AI can help us write better and faster codes. That's it. Thank you. Any questions?